Hi, this is Kathy Ann from Evergreen Estates of Realty. Welcome to my fourth part of Buying a Home series, and talks about the contract and inspections. So we'll be talking about the purchase contract, escrow, contingency period for inspections and disclosures, negotiations, and the contingency removal. When you make an offer, you found a property you like, you're telling the seller how much you're willing to pay for it, and that would be if you move forward to deciding to buy it. Your realtor can guide you on how much of a purchase price you should offer. It could be more or less than the advertised price, depending on how much the home is worth in terms of neighborhood values and property condition. Big reminder here, purchase offer is a legal contract, so please do not just gloss over the terms of the contract, which include timeframes and monies. The way you make an offer on a house is write a contract and then make an earnest money deposit, which I'll talk about in a second. If the seller accepts your offer, they will sign the contract. If they don't accept it, maybe there are certain terms they don't like, they may make a counteroffer, which modifies those terms. You also can make a counteroffer to their counteroffer, and the process can go back and forth until you have a contract signed by both parties or basically the deal falls through. When the offer is accepted, the seller is going to take the property off the market, which we call sale pending. Earnest money deposit is basically a certain amount of the down payment, which is applied toward the purchase price when the deal goes through. If the offer is not accepted, then you can get the earnest money deposit back. If you default on the contract after the contingency period is completed, then that money can be lost, at least 3% or more. The earnest money deposit is held in escrow by the title company, which is an independent third party that handles the paperwork for the sale. I've included a portion of the contract here which determines who pays what for closing costs, and this might be an area where you can save some money. Some of these are customary costs that vary between counties, such as in Santa Clara County, the seller usually pays for the escrow and title fee, the county transfer tax, and then the buyer and seller usually split the city transfer tax. In Alameda County, the buyer pays for title and escrow. So who pays for the inspections? Also, home warranty is another area in which you usually want to get a 1-year home warranty plan, so you determine here who pays for that. I've also included the portion of the contract that talks about the contingency period. As you can see, most of these are 17 days, or it could be changed to something longer or shorter. So what you have a contingency period is the appraisal of the house, your loan, and also for inspections. This is the time where you find out if you're going to move forward with buying the property. So you find out all the problems with the property, problems with your loans or appraisal. You, within 3 days, are to receive disclosures about the property from the homeowner, and you'll also include a hazard report, which talks about the potential for floods or earthquakes, chemical leaks, or any potential hazard industry in your area. Usually you will get a termite inspection and a home inspection. These talk about the condition of your home, obviously for termites and dry rot, and whether the electric works and the plumbing and all that other kind of stuff, the structure of the home. If there's a pool, you may want to get a pool inspection. If you think there's a problem with the roof, you can get a roof inspection as well, or check the foundation. At this point, this is where you negotiate to fix these problems or ask for a credit for repair. This occurs with an addendum to the contract before the contingency period ends, because if it is not written in the contract, it does not exist. The contingency period is the time to be able to work out any problems with the property, its value, or your loan. The time for negotiating any fixing or getting credit for repair problems. Once the contingencies are removed, you are agreeing to move forward with purchasing this property, and your earnest money deposit will apply to the purchase of the home, and most likely does not get returned if you decide to back out of the deal. So if there are more questions, please get a hold of me. You can go to the website, southbayrealtypro.com. You can see my next installment, which would be about closing escrow, or look at the other videos in this series. Thank you.